time for some deep dish, right?
Let's get
You
into
all
it.
ready for this? This is not the food, everybody. It's a part of the show. We go deep on a topic. We even dish about ourselves. So let's get right into it. March Madness was over the weekend. I know you guys watched from Thursday all the way to Sunday.
Of
You're
course.
still recovering from all the basketball that you watched.
So much basketball.
So clearly you saw what I'm about to show you right now. It's one of the big moments that left everybody in the sports world talking, even outside of it. It occurred on the sidelines, not even during the action. After a timeout, legendary coach right there, you see him, of Michigan State. That's Tom Izzo, getting into it with one of his freshman players, Aaron Henry. Now, the optics, they look bad, and it had everybody talking. Was Tom Izzo in the wrong for his approach? Should you not get this heated as a coach on the sidelines with one of your young players? You can tell he's very animated. He's very hot. It got to a point where one of the senior leaders and one of the best players in the country, number 5 right there, Cassius Winston,
they like, coach,
had to hold his coach back. This went on for a good 30 seconds, as you see right there. So some people are staking a claim saying it's simply coaching and people need to move on. Others are saying there's no place for this in the game. I'm curious, as you guys are self-identified, not huge sports fans, how do you guys see this thing?
It looks toxic to me. It just makes him look like he's out of control in the situation, right? I mean, if I was a player, I wouldn't want to be on a team like this.
If that was your son, how would you feel about that?
I would feel like he's being disrespected. But I don't know what the culture is. How common is it for coaches to talk to their players like that?
And that's a fair question. And before I weigh in on that side of it, being a player.
Would you like to give me my sports experience?
I'm curious to
Why is everyone laughing?
I didn't expect those laughs.
Why is everyone laughing?
I'm curious what you honestly think of.
No,
that was your son.
In all truth, I mean, I wasn't good at basketball, so I won't use that experience. But I played volleyball. I wasn't good at volleyball either. But let's use golf and soccer. I was good at golf and soccer.
But this kind of emotion's not going to happen.
I played that from age 9 up until high school. So I have sports experience, everyone. But to answer your question,
please.
I had to prove my resume first. I think that you go through moments as a team where it can be warranted. But I also think as a coach, like, you have to know the person, the player. You have to know who you're talking to. Because honestly, some people need to get cussed out. Point blank, period. You need to get cussed out. That's what motivates them. That's what moves them. Some people you have to double down on and get caught and go hard on them. Hand clap. Thank you.
Preach, Ashley.
One hand clap. Thank you. But other people, not so much. That's not their personality. They may need a motivational speech. They may need, something a little softer. You may need to ask them what's wrong. So I would say it depends. That's my answer.
And I think that's a great point because, as a guy who played 4 years of college basketball, 4 years of high school, very competitive levels. I never got all the way to the professional ranks, messed my knee up and never got there. But what was a norm was motivational tactics from coaches. You get recruited by them. They tell you how great you are. They tell you how cool your shoes are, how cool of a guy you are, how great you're going to be. And then you show up, and then real starts to happen. Then every other word's a cuss word. They motivate you. They try to fire you up. Is that appalling to some? Sure. But in the life of an athlete, it's understood that your coach is going to get into you to get the best out of you.
Oh, Jordan, I know you heard every word under the sun.
You know me.
He got a hard head, you guys. I know he heard every single cuss word.
Very true. But what you saw there was a team that was not giving its best effort in a first-round game against a much lesser opponent. The Bradley team, which is actually from Illinois, they weren't getting back in transition, meaning they weren't running back and giving the effort needed. A timeout was called. Michigan State was playing bad basketball. This is one of the very talented, impressionable freshmen who was not playing as hard as he should. Tom Izzo got into him. The young man did not respond respectfully and mouth back to the coach. There's a dynamic of player-coach. That's a place where you just listen and learn. He didn't do that. Coach got into it. Now, what was the most fascinating, which you guys can't know because you don't follow these teams like that, this is what I do for a living on the side, is the player that held the coach back was one of those rowdy freshmen back in the day that got coached like that, who's now a senior. And that senior, after 4 years of tutelage, was the one who said, Coach, chill out. We've got this. To which, if you see, Coach listened, and then it changed. So my point is, I think people don't want young kids. This is why I never got into coaching. They don't want young kids to be coached up. Their kid is always right. Their kid has 100,000 followers on Instagram.
Everybody's so sensitive these days.
Too
Everybody's
sensitive.
so sensitive.
And I think it's unbelievable that it's a story. I get it. Carly, me and you are cut from a very different cloth like this. You're very much a lover. You're never confrontational. I think that the athlete background on my side is not affected by this. But there are people, and it's totally within their right to be that way. So it's the point I guess I would make is Tom Izzo knows that. Tom Izzo wouldn't coach you like he'd coach me, and I think that's what makes him a great coach. He'd get the best out of you doing it in a different way. Aaron Henry can handle that, and that's why I think it was a good move.
Yeah.
Carly's like, oh.
But like, if somebody,
No, it's absolutely true. It's like
Exactly.
Felicia said, you have to know the person. You have to know how they're going to react and what builds them up or gets them moving. And it's not the same for everyone. We all
Yeah.
come from different backgrounds.
if
so
he cussed at
100%.
Carly like that, I'd grab Coach. I'd be like, Coach, she's never going to want to play for you.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of
Yeah.
it. And if you said it to Felicia, Felicia would be like, Coach, I don't care that you won 700 games.
Yeah.
I got this.
You better take it from a 10 to a 5 because you're giving me too much.
But that's the whole thing, and it's been very divided. And I think it was what I really wanted. Why I really want to talk about this is because I felt like this was a great life lesson. So sports isn't for everybody. You played back in the day. Your life has gone in a brilliant, different direction. You don't care about it as much. You've never really been a sports person, but there's still lessons in sports that are really
Yeah.
cool. So I wanted to talk to this.
Yeah, no,
about this
I'm
that
for
reason.
sure ensuring that my children will play sports. That's just gonna happen. They will be in some sort of sport because it just teaches so much character. Like, you need to know what it's like to play on a losing team. You need to know what it's like to motivate someone else or to be the person that messed everything up. I've been that person on a team where you got 10 other people looking back at you like you shouldn't be here. Like, you need to know what that's like. Like, it's character
It's
building.
the entitlement of an 18-year-old to feel like, who are you to yell at me? Well, I'm yelling at you to get the best out of you,
Yeah.
to challenge you to be great. And if you think you've got all the answers, well, why don't you coach this team? You're 18 years old. You'll be like that 22-year-old because I'm helping you out. Now, if he's grabbing that player, if he's getting physical with him,
Abusive.
there's
Yeah.
no place
Yeah.
for that. But this was coming from a place of love to make him better. I thought it was a great lesson to be learned, and not everybody's going to agree with it, but I happen to be okay with it.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna see tables flying and chairs flying everywhere.
That happens with some coaches. That's a different story.